Hey Wargamers, today I want to talk about Tau stealth suits. So I have Index Xenos 2 here. We'll go over their strengths, their weaknesses, and how you're going to want to use them in a Tau army. But overall, I think the stealth suit has seen a major improvement over last edition. You're going to see them all over the place. So before we do that though, I want to say thanks for watching. If you like this video, if you like any of my other videos, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, including more unit reviews, battle reports, and hobby related stuff. So all right, let's get into it. Basically, stealth suits, again, like I said, major improvement. You're going to see them in almost every Tau army, and I'm bringing them in almost every Tau list that I am building now. They cost about 30 points, which sets them at about half the efficiency of a fire warrior in terms of fire output, but that's not what we're using these guys for. These guys aren't here to lay down the hurt. They're here to provide some unique tactical options for the rest of your army. So basically a stealth suit has movement 8. Again, they lost the jump, shoot, jump ability, but that's okay. Again, working with this movement ability and the fly keyword, which allows them to fall back from combat and still shoot, gives them the flexibility that we need from them right now. Weapon skill of 5 up, ballistic skill of 4 up, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and then leadership 7 or 8 depending on if you have the Chazray with you or not, and then the 3 up save. So pretty much the same as we had last time, a little bit more durable, but overall pretty much the same. A unit of stealth suits starts out at 3, and you can add an additional 3 there and take 2 tactical drones, so that's things like gun drones, marker drones, and shield drones. And everyone starts off as equipped with a burst cannon, and you have a few options here that we're going to go through now. Basically, as far as your drones, well, you know, a unit of 3 really isn't going to stick around that long, so you want to add some ablative wounds. You want to increase the unit size some way, so whether that's taking more drones or taking more suits, either way is fine. Really, I think you probably want to bring at least 4 suits, maybe 5, and then a couple tactical drones. Shield drones really aren't going to do a whole lot for you here because these guys only have 2 wounds. They're not going to be the subject of a lot of multi-damage shots. They're going to be taken out by volume of fire. So things like a gun drone is fine. It gives you a little bit more offensive capability, has the same range as a burst cannon, so it works. Or marker light drones if you need some more marker lights in your army. But really these are going to be ablative wounds, so maybe gun drones are better. Alright. Everybody starts off with a burst cannon. You have the option to take a fusion blaster on one every 3 suits. But again, these guys are here for tactical options. They're not here to be damage dealers or anything like that. So leave the fusion blaster work to the crisis suits, to the ghost skill. Leave the high damage output to the Riptide or a Hammerhead or a Storm Surge, something like that. Not your stealth suits. Besides, these guys are going to be moving around and you don't want to have to bother with that heavy weapon profile. You can give your Chazray a marker light and target lock, but again, these guys are going to be moving around. They're not here for that. Don't bother with it. It's bloat. You don't need to pay the points for it. And then you can take a homing beacon, and that's the ticket, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's get through the rest of their rules first. They have For the Greater Good, allows them to fire Overwatch. The old supporting fire rule is back with For the Greater Good, and they're going to be deploying in a way that they're probably going to be able to use that at least once in a game. The Bonding Knife Ritual, although this is a relatively small unit, if you do take a larger unit, if you do take 6, for example, and you lose a couple guys, having the Bonding Knife Ritual option is going to be beneficial. Infiltrator ability just basically allows them to deploy outside of your deployment zone, outside of your opponent's deployment zone, and more than 12 inches away from your opponent, which is actually really nice. This allows them, this is the key, this is the first step in them giving all those nice tactical options to your army. And so being infiltrators is awesome for these guys. And then they have camouflage fields, and this is the new stealth rule. Basically, instead of giving a modifier to their cover or anything like that, it subtracts 1 from your opponent's to hit roll. So if they needed 3s to hit you before, now they need 4s. and so that's pretty darn good. Even if they needed 2s to hit you before, that's doubling the amount of misses that opponent is originally going to have. And especially on weapons that trigger on a hit roll of 6 or something like that, this makes that not possible, because even if they roll a 6, it's going to be downgraded to a 5 and therefore not work. So that's one difference between modifiers to hit and proccing abilities, basically, or proccing abilities and rerolls, that sort of thing. Basically, if you roll a 6 and it gets downgraded to a 5 because of this, and the ability requires a 6, it's negated. If you roll a 2 and it's downgraded to a 1, and you were able to reroll 1s, you can't do it. Rerolling 1s only occurs on the natural die roll. So, a little side note there, but basically, it's pretty darn good. So, the camouflage field is awesome. And then there's the homing beacon. And I said we were going to get to this, and this is really the coup de grace of the stealth team, is they have the homing beacon, which allows your units that would otherwise Manta Strike, it's the new battlesuit version of Deep Strike. If they were to Manta Strike, they would normally have to Deep Strike outside of 9 inches, which means that they're far away for a charge, they can't use their flamers, anything like that. But the homing beacon allows them to negate that. They can deploy anywhere within 3 inches of the homing beacon, and the homing beacon can be anywhere on the table as long as the stealth suits are there. So this opens up a whole world of options in terms of deep striking and tactical maneuvers that wouldn't otherwise be possible. It's a great option for suits that have, for crisis suits that have fusion blasters on them. It's a great option for crisis suits that have flamers on them. It's a great option for Farsight if you want him to be able to deep strike in, shoot, and charge. This is the way to do it. Really gives you some nice aggressive options to take out high priority targets. And for that reason, I would recommend always taking a homing beacon in your list. Maybe even a couple units of stealth suits with the homing beacon, just in case one doesn't make it, or you have a couple units that you want to offer that support to. Having a homing beacon is really nice. One thing with something like Farsight is if you deep strike him in on a homing beacon, then he's hanging out all by himself. So if you take 2 homing beacons, you can deep strike an accompanying unit of crisis suits next to him, and they can make it so people can't shoot at Farsight, but also give him the supporting firepower that he needs to really really shine. So there's that. And I think that's really the crux of using stealth suits in 8th edition, is use them for their tactical options. Use them as denial units that people can't deep strike in next to you. Use them for aggressive tactical options by using this homing beacon. And sprinkle them in your list as much as you can to give you those options. Don't take them as a source of firepower or anything like that. Use them for their strategic value. Because that's really where they shine. Like I said, I think stealth suits are awesome. They're relatively durable for their points, and they give you a lot of flexibility. So I will be bringing them in almost every list. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, happy wargaming.